Hey, Truth Seekers, welcome back. Zach here. Today's August 19th, 2015. Just yesterday, I did a story, or I should say, I broke down the story of the 93-year-old Tuskegee airman that was supposedly carjacked and robbed. I showed how that story was propaganda made by the numbers for the purpose of the perception it will create in the reading audience. If you are new to my work, I routinely talk about how the media is ran by Zionist Masons who code their work, and what they're doing is they're coding their agenda of hate. It is their biggest giveaway. They've done this for as long as the media existed. The thing that amazes me the most is that this research or this information wasn't exposed sooner. But that's exactly what I'm doing here. If you watch my videos, the work becomes undeniable. Let this be further evidence of what I said just yesterday about the Tuskegee Airmen. And the reason I open up with these, I don't know, whatever you want to call them, persuasive rants, I'm trying to persuade you to understand the sincerity and importance of my work. The reason I do this is because you who watch these videos, you need to do it for more than just your own benefit. You have to go out and you have to speak to your friends and family, no matter how crazy they say you are. Because after a certain point, this information just becomes undeniable. And even if you don't get the reaction out of them the way what you would hope for, just think of it as drops in the bucket. This information is only deniable for so long. And those of us who are awake, we have to wake up the other people. There's no alternative. All right, anyway, just yesterday I was talking about the significance of the number 93, how it gets coded into propaganda stories. Notice right away that this shooting of this 9-year-old girl in a drive-by supposedly happened at 9:30 p.m. G Airman carjacked at 93. Tuskegee has gematria of 93. Please watch that video, very important video. I connect that number to Rosa Parks, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King Jr., and more. Anyhow, this shooting happened in Ferguson, Missouri, a year and 10 days after the Michael Brown shooting. Or excuse me, it happened late on the night of the 18th, so a year and 9 days later. But the news broke today, August 19th. Remember, Ferguson and Missouri are locations coded with the number 42, numbers often coded on black people, especially in sad, fateful incidents. The victim here is named Jamila Bolden. Jamila Bolden, the 9-year-old girl who was killed at 9:30, named gematria of 42. And this story comes out on a date with 42 numerology. 9:30 p.m., just like days before in St. Louis, 93-year-old Tuskegee Airman carjacked and robbed. Again, 93, a number of propaganda and more, but one that gets coded heavily. In history, the Tuskegee Airmen were first deployed into combat April 2nd, 1943 for World War II. Emphasis on 4-2. Notice the gematria of the most hateful word for black people. Sums to 42 with a 5-9 coding inside of it. With regards to April 2nd, Rodney King had a April 2nd birthday as well. And his name in gematria summed to 59, a number coded all over black Americans. Negro, slave, blues, all equal 59. Motown Records came out in 59. Marvin Gaye's birthday was April 2nd. He was murdered on the last day of being 44, the kill number, as well as 59. 44 and 59 are the kill numbers in gematria. This is all part of a sick joke waged by a very sick people. Black History Month is February, the only month with 42 gematria. February 28th is the 59th day of the year. 42 and 59, these numbers coded all over black Americans. And also black Africans. On May 9th this year, a country was declared Ebola-free in Africa because it went 42 days without a new case of Ebola on 5/9, May 9th. International sick joke because the Freemasons are an international sick gang waging tyranny on the earth. And they've put their stamps on everything. even hateful words. Why? Because they believe in conquering through dividing, and hateful words are there just to do just that. You know, these words only serve one purpose: to divide us and make us hate each other. That old nursery rhyme, sticks and stones will break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Well, unfortunately, a lot of people let words hurt them in this world. So that was that story out of Ferguson. Now today, August 19th, 2015, we get a shooting of an 18-year-old in St. Louis, just miles from Ferguson, just a little after a year of the Michael Brown anniversary, when there's all these feelings and sentiments about this. Now here we go, maybe a repeat of the same incident. The shooting comes on a date with 42 numerology, like Ferguson, Missouri, like this number stamped on black people. Real quick lesson on Jackie Robinson. Think about how Jackie Robinson, first black baseball player, wore 42. If you're new here, please check out my videos on Major League Baseball, predictions for the World Series. I've done so much interesting work on baseball. It's so coded with these numbers. Anyhow, Jackie Robinson Day is on the 105th day of the year. It's the day the Titanic sunk, the day Lincoln died. Known for freeing the slaves. Both Zionism and Masonry have gematria of 105 and 42. And these are the people who run our media and who are behind these sick pranks. They run the sports leagues. They run pretty much the world that is exposed through the television. And even beyond that, they're in control of governments, media, entertainment. In Revelation, they are referenced as the synagogue of Satan. Anyhow, back on point here, the killing of this 18-year-old today. They say he was killed at 11:30, 113. The carjacking of the 93-year-old Tuskegee Airman just happened at 11:30 p.m. I was putting emphasis on this, talking about how they love to code 113 and do their hoaxes at these times. Here we go again, just days later. These people are relentless. What I have exposed is undeniable. It's why I cannot even keep up with the media in trying to expose these stories. Check out my blog, freetofindtruth.blogspot.com. I do tons of stuff there that never makes the video blog, but I try to show all the hoaxing going on in the media. 113. Remember, mainstream, green screen, and dishonest all sum to 113, truth seeker. So does the phrase black and white, and we're getting a lot of black and white stories. Bava Kama 113a says a Jew can circumvent a Gentile, meaning a non-Jew, by lying to them. The victim, the 18-year-old, is named Mansur Balbay, named gematria 46, which is interesting to me because oftentimes this is the number they give to the police officers who are supposedly killed. I thought this was the case because the word hero equals 46. Haven't figured out the full meaning of this 46 number, but it is one that gets coded a lot in police killings, and here we find it on the victim of the deceased. So maybe there'll be a bigger story coming out. Maybe this boy will be made into a hero. I'm not sure. Also, gematria 55, one of those multiples of 11. Okay, so that was 113. Next up, I want to look at the details of this shooting. Who's reporting it? Police Chief Sam Dotson, truth seeker. Police, a word with 33 gematria. Sam, a word with 33 gematria. Dotson, a word with 33 gematria. Last year during the Michael Brown shooting, I was talking about how 33 was heavily coded into it, and before the police officer's name was released, I predicted it would be a 33 name, and it was Darren. The phrase race war has gematria of 33. They say 2 police officers were shot where this teen was killed. 33-year-old police officer and 29. What's interesting about 29 is it is the first number with numerology of 11 after 11, and they love to code the multiples of 11, 11, 22, 33, 44, 55, etc. The man giving us the reporting, all this 33 coding, the numbers of the hoax, the numbers of the race war with that gematria of 33, just like the phrase Black Lives. This Black Lives Matter is a Zionist agenda meant to divide and conquer. Anytime you put the emphasis on race, you're putting a seed there for more division. One little point for those who follow my blog, I'm talking about how they're coding 58 into like every story right now for some reason. And they say this gun's from Rolla, Missouri. Rolla with the gematria of 58. Then at the end of the article, they give a reporting of another shooting, also in St. Louis. Supposedly an Isaac Johnson, 30 years old. Isaac, right away. A name with 33 gematria. 95 for Johnson, the reflection of 59. Over and over, Truth Seeker. There's more there, but I don't want to wear you out. Tuskegee, this story with all the coding, and then stories just days later with more coding. Again, those Tuskegee airmen in history were sent out on April 2nd. People are relentless with their coding. And here was another headline last night. I'll just throw this out there. Toddler supposedly shot their dad. Toddler, a 33 word. Number of the hoax. Don't forget it. But this is the problem, Truth Seeker. The word I'm putting out, it is not known by the masses, and people are getting worked up. They're getting angry. And let's watch the mainstream coverage showing these worked up, angry people and what it will do to millions in the viewing audience. Here we go.
Louis police officers shot and killed a man as they were serving a search warrant today. Police say the suspect pointed a stolen gun at the officers, but people are still upset. Bommarito Automotive Skyfox is live right now over the scene where protesters are in the streets. They're blocking the streets at Walton. The shooting occurred in a very violent neighborhood in northwest St. Louis. It all took place in the 1200 block of Walton Avenue, and our Dan Gray is live at the North Patrol headquarters of the St. Louis Police Department with the very latest on this investigation. Dan?
Mandy, police say one suspect in his early 20s is dead. A second suspect in his mid to late teens is on the run after this police officer-involved shooting earlier today. At about 11:30 this morning, police executed a search warrant looking for guns and felons at a home in the 1200 block of Walton Avenue near Page Boulevard. Chief Sam Dodson says when officers went to the front door, two black males ran out the back door. Police said those two men, both armed with guns, one of them pointed a gun at the officers.
Officers in the rear alley ordered them to stop and to drop the gun. As they ran, one of the individuals turned and pointed the gun at the officers. There were two officers in the alley. Both officers fired. Right now it appears one officer fired one shot, the other fired three shots. The suspect was struck. He dropped his gun and continued to run through a gangway until he collapsed in front of 1233 Walton here on this street.
1233 Walton. And with regards to Walton, Truth Seeker, it has a simple English gematria of 85, the reflection of 58, the other number coded in all the shooting hoaxes right now. Something going on with that 5885.
Now, a crowd of about 200 angry people gathered at the scene to protest the police shooting. They blocked Page Boulevard at Walton, and during the protest, police backed off from the area. They watched from about a block away. Police say they've had a heavy presence in the neighborhood. Just within the last few days, there have been violent crimes in the area. Police say that people who live in that home that they targeted with the search warrant are violent criminals who may be responsible for some of...
I just noticed something else that's really gross, Truth Seeker. Page and Walton in Pythagorean gematria, when summed together, total 42. For one more, 42. Something else.
Those crimes. Chief Sam Dodson says the newly formed Force Investigative Unit will investigate this police shooting and then turn over their findings to the St. Louis Circuit Attorney, who will then review the case and determine if that shooting was justified. Now, the names of the two officers involved have not been released. They've only been identified as a 33-year-old white male with 7 years on the force.
Isn't it just a joke, Truth Seeker, how they just put it right in front of our face? How did these news anchors even need to look down? I'd already know my notes before I was hired. A 33-year-old, what else?
Other officer, a 29-year-old white male with nearly 7 years on the force, and both have been placed on administrative leave until the investigation is completed. Reporting live from North St. Louis, I'm Dan Gray, Fox 2 News.
It's pathetic, isn't it? Remember, 33, the number of the hoax, the number of the race war. Sam Dotson, the main man we saw spoken with all that 33 coding. Police, Sam Dotson. Once upon a time, it was the KKK. K is the 11th letter. The KKK, the 33. Little bonus for you. The words costume and uniform both have gematria of 96, like Freemason. We wear costumes in the only month of the year with 33 gematria, October. On the 31st day, the foundational degree of Scottish Rite Freemasonry. If you sum 31 plus 32 plus 33, it equals 96. All right, Truth Seeker, until next time.